We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hello and welcome on into another episode of the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I am your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week. Today we are talking Patriots, the inflammatory comments from Keion White at minicamp, basically calling out Jerod Mayo and bringing a smile to every Patriots fan's face when he talks about Mike Vrabel. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what Stefon Diggs didn't really say at camp. We will also go over the 3 best trade packages for Jerod Mayo. We've tiptoed around it. We've talked Durham. We've talked Paul Skeens trade. Here are the actual trades that will get it done for the Red Sox to trade an all-star and feel kind of good about it. Plus, we'll have a special guest, Kevin from the Zach Owen Show, to talk about the NBA Finals and exactly what we have been missing here on the Cam Show. All that and more coming up on this episode. We start where we start. Patriots minicamp, baby. It is already creating headlines. Stefon Diggs talking about the boat incident, or really not doing it, kind of pulling his best Marshawn Lynch impression. Keion White, though, he's not afraid to say things, okay? And he was asked about the addition of Mike Vrabel and what it means for Keion White, for the defense, for the Patriots as a whole. This isn't the best audio, but we're going to play it and then read you some of what he said about his current coach and his old head coach.
And how helpful are those early periods? Because I see like you, Harold, and all the kind of veteran guys working your moves. How helpful is it to be able to get those in before you actually get on the field?
It's pretty good. So it's helpful for me because it slows it down for me a little bit, and it trains me. Like he's doing a good job of saying like, this is what you need to think of. This is your thought process, and that's something I don't think I had before, and what I was missing.
So did it feel like you were maybe going on prior experience, or maybe were you just like overthinking, or how exactly?
I'm training myself. Now I feel like I have a coach.
What happened?
Now I feel like I have a coach. It's not exactly how he felt under Jerod Mayo. It's not how most of the team felt under Jerod Mayo. You remember some of the comments coming out last year. It felt like we didn't really have a game plan. And when we did, it would change in the middle of the week. Nobody knew what the game plan was going into the game. No wonder you only won 4 of them. 1 of them by accident. No wonder. They didn't have a game plan. He says, now we have a coach. He went on to say, I like Mike. He leads with work. I can respect that. It's similar to Bill Belichick, just with a younger face. I think we all know how I feel about that. I liked him. So it's comforting to know that you have a hard ass at the helm who will not be afraid to fistfight you in a back alley. Okay, I don't need my head football coach to necessarily be fighting the players in a back alley, but all the other stuff, that sounds pretty good. You know, and this is what I said from the beginning, is that he is taking the good of the Bill Belichick era. You know, there wasn't all good at the end, you know, specifically that last year, it was pretty bad all the way around, but Mike Vrabel brings the good of Bill Belichick, right? He brings the accountability, he brings the hard ass, and he brings the coaching, is what Keion White was really talking about there. That is, like, let's not get lost in the whole fist fight thing to what he's actually saying. I have a guy who's out there coaching me. I was on my own last year. That's a raw deal for Keion White because the kid has a ton of talent. Belichick loved him. I still think Keion had a good year last year, but he was in the unfortunate, unenviable position of, you know, within the last month of training camp, the Christian Barmore news comes down of him having blood clots and wasn't going to play really that year. Did play a couple games at the end of the season, and that Matthew Judon was being traded. Now, obviously, you can't control the Barmore thing, and the Judon trade, I think, was a good thing for the Patriots, but it was a bad thing for Keion White in the year of 2024 because then all the attention goes to him, and he doesn't really have someone coaching him. That's where Mike Vrabel comes in. And that's why I think when we take a step back and look at the offseason the Patriots had, which I think we can all agree has been a good offseason. Memorial Day weekend boat antics aside, it's been a pretty damn good offseason for the Patriots. The best move they made out of free agency, out of the draft, out of all of it, was getting this guy. getting Mike Vrabel next to Bob Kraft, holding up the helmet and being the new head coach of the New England Patriots. It still baffles me and a lot of Patriots fans as to why that didn't happen last year. Vrabel was looking for a job last January. And the Patriots were looking for a head coach. And instead of interviewing anybody, and I think a lot of people in New England were thinking, wow, this is going to make a ton of sense, Vrabel. They promoted the inside linebackers coach because they promised him a job 5 years ago. It was stupid. It was heinous. To be honest, as the owner of the Patriots, it's one of the worst things that Bob Kraft has ever done. And it's super, I think, marred that season, obviously, but marred a bit of Robert Kraft's legacy. And now he's putting his eggs in this basket. I think a lot of Patriots fans are putting their eggs in this basket. And I think about, I was thinking about Mike Vrabel yesterday when the Bruins actually unveiled their new head coach, Marco Sturm. And I was listening to a good interview where a guy who used to cover the Bruins, DJ Bean, said, this is probably a good thing for the Bruins to get Marco Sturm, but I don't think you're picturing him as the guy who you win the Stanley Cup with. You're in a big rebuild, and I don't know if that's the guy that's necessarily going to get you there, but it's a start. With Mike Vrabel and the Patriots in a big-time rebuild, I think you look at that, and I'm not saying like, oh, they're guaranteed to win a Super Bowl, but if this thing does turn around, Mike Vrabel is going to be the guy that's lifting that trophy. Okay? Again, that's not me being like, okay, 2 years, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But like with the Bruins rebuild, you're talking about, yeah, Marco Sturm will get the ball rolling, the puck rolling, and someone else will probably come in the way the Florida Panthers had to actually win the thing. With the Patriots, if this is going to go according to plan, it is going to still be Mike Vrabel. And you can see that. Like, he's a guy who's brought a team to an AFC championship game before. And I said it from day one when they made the hire. The first thought I think a lot of us had was, finally, we've got an adult in the room again. There's not going to be guys riding their bikes in the locker room and using the big the boom boxes and the basketball hoops. We don't need that shit. Okay? We don't need all of what Bill Belichick brought at the end there. I think there was an ego getting in the way with Bill Belichick, especially with the way he handled his coaching staff. There was absolutely more bad than good in the last year or two of Bill Belichick. What Vrabel brings is all the good things that Belichick brought. The accountability, the coaching style, the game plan, the attention to detail, the willingness to not take any shit from these guys, rookies or veterans or otherwise. So when we look at the 2025 season and we expect a leap from Drake May, we expect all-pro kind of play from Christian Gonzalez. We expect a big leap from this defense. We expect a better wide receiver room. But more than that, we expect them to just have their heads out of their asses with Mike Vrabel as the head coach. I mean, how many games last year did you feel like, man, if they just had a coach who just like understood the basics, like clock management, the Patriots would win this game or have a better chance to win this game? The Indianapolis game comes to mind. The Miami game at home comes to mind. There's plenty of times that you can look and just be like, if they had a halfway competent coach, they would have won this game. And I'll tell you another thing. If the Patriots go out there and beat the Vegas Raiders week 1 and start the season 1-0, they sure as hell are not going to be giving a fucking Gatorade bath to Mike Vrabel. Like, that shit is out the door. I'm hoping it comes with a lot of wins as well, but I think this would be a lot easier for the Patriots fans to swallow than seeing the Gatorade baths and the basketball hoops in the locker room and the stupid little handshake that Jerod Mayo and Alex Van Pelt did when they scored a touchdown. Like, we're done with that. This regime that we're in right now is as close to the kind of peak Belichick as we're going to get. You know what I mean? By that, I mean you're not going to get a ton of real hard-ass coaches in professional sports anymore. Mike Vrabel is that. And he's an effective one. That's the thing. You don't get effective hard-ass coaches in pro sports anymore. Mike Vrabel is going to give that to you. He's going to give you that meticulous attention to detail, which should be like the baseline for an NFL head coach. But as we saw with Jerod Mayo and a couple other coaches around the league every year, that's not exactly the baseline. And you're just going to see a guy that doesn't take any shit, man. He built a team in Tennessee. He really did, man. When you look back, they didn't go to a Super Bowl. The Tennessee Titans went to an AFC championship game under Mike Vrabel. Look what they were before he got there. Look where they are now. You shit the bed on taking the number one pick by winning the final game of the season, and you know who got it? Tennessee did. They were just as bad as you. Of course, they beat you last year, but that's a dumpster fire of a franchise. Mike Vrabel was their saving grace for a couple of years. So as much as I love the Stephon Diggs signing, still off an injury, as much as I love their draft and some of the guys they got in free agency, like Milton Williams, like Harold Landry, like as much as I like them somewhat bolstering their offensive line, the best move they made all offseason was giving the keys to Mike Vrabel and potentially letting him run this damn thing too. Remember, it's Ryan Cowden. It's his guy that came in for player personnel. It wasn't Elliott Wolf's guy. It was Mike Vrabel's guy. And his fingerprints, I think, were all over that draft. And you cannot say the same thing about Jerod Mayo last year. Jerod Mayo, God love him, man. I actually feel bad for him. He's a puppet. He was an absolute puppet for this organization. Mike Vrabel will not be that. So shout out to Keion White for actually saying that. Now we've got a coach. And that is the first step towards rebuilding this thing and getting to some sort of legitimacy long before you get back to what the Patriots were. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Was Mike Vrabel the biggest addition the Patriots made in the offseason? And how many wins does he give you? I was talking to some friends the other day. They're saying, like, that's got to be at least 2 more wins. And I kind of have to agree with just basic time clock management and actually having a game plan. How many more wins does Mike Vrabel give you from last year? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you love the Mike Vrabel hire and you're excited for this Patriots season. Check out the other videos on YouTube talking about the Patriots and everything Boston sports. We are live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Before we leave Patriots minicamp, Stephon Diggs, I didn't get the soundbite for this because I didn't find it all that exciting, but the beat writers that are actually down there in minicamp in Foxborough were trying to hold Stephon Diggs' feet to the fire. They kept asking him about the boat incident. This is the first time we've heard from him since it came out, the video. The boat incident, the video, the pink cocaine, talking with Mike Vrabel, and he gave you kind of the Marshawn Lynch, man, or the Bill Belichick. Like, I'm just here so I won't get fined, so to speak. He basically said, I don't talk about my personal life. He was very polite about it. I'll give him that. Very polite about it. He wasn't being a total douchebag, but, like Marshawn Lynch and Bill Belichick used to be. He wasn't treating the reporters like they were less than. He was just saying, look, I'm not going to talk about it. Basically saying, like, I don't want to get in any more trouble. He's like, look, me and Mike talked about it. Mike Vrabel, Vrabes, I think he called him. Me and Vrabes talked about it. But we're not going to take that out to the media. So, I mean, I would love to hear his explanation. And shout out to the reporters, by the way, because they kept asking, they were saying, well, what did you talk to him about? Like, how did that conversation go? Did you know you were being recorded? Which I think is the most enthralling question of all this. Like, how did you let yourself be recorded doing this? But Stephon Diggs basically saying nothing except for the fact that he feels pretty good about his knee and is hopeful to be out there week 1. If Stephon Diggs is out there week 1, that is a miracle. Like, and it's possible, but it feels miraculous, and that would be a huge addition for the Patriots. But if not, his first game back, like, let's say he starts on the pup list, the IR to start 4 weeks, the first 4 weeks of the season, if it happens in the preseason, that would mean week 5 would be his first game, and that would be at the Buffalo Bills. You don't think he's going to want to go off in that one? think that could be the greatest thing to ever happen to Drake May if Stefon Diggs comes back and week 1 is against the Buffalo Bills, his old team. Man, that would be something. Steph Diggs holds the keys to what could be a good Patriots team here. You know, I think we all expect Drake May to take a leap. I don't know if it's going to be a huge leap like a lot of people think. I don't know if he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. I think we expect to have an elite defense here in New England, a better coach, and Stefon Diggs is really the only guy that you brought in that really elevates one position group. That wide receiver group's been awful, worse in the league the last 2 years and 3 of the last 5. Stefon Diggs brings some legitimacy to that. And if he's healthy, he can still play. He's not 28-year-old Stefon Diggs, but the kid can still play. The kid, the 31-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever he is, he can still play. And that would be a huge, huge leap for Drake May and something that Drake May absolutely needs. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Did you want to hear more from Stefon Diggs? I wasn't expecting very much, to be quite honest with you. But that was a big move the Patriots made in the offseason. Now we look to potential moves for the Red Sox. We've talked about the Jarren Duran trade and why that could make sense for the Red Sox, but let's actually dig deep into this. What are the 3 best trade packages that an MLB team can put out there for Jarren Duran? Let's talk about it next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's golfpartnerusa.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open-source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, which is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. And that's because my name is Cam. And I want to clarify that because I started to notice when I search up the Cam Show, there are some non-PG rated things around us on YouTube. Young ladies perhaps using cams, as short for camera. So just in case you search the Cam Show and you see some of that, hey, maybe that's a good thing for us. Maybe that's really reeling some people in. But that is why it's called the Cam Show. So this is about as much of me as you're going to get right there if you're looking for cam girls or cam guys. But this is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Zach is furious. I just did that probably. But we are talking about Boston sports. That's what we do every day. We do it. Zach is laughing. We're doing it at high noon Eastern time every weekday live on YouTube. And then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We talked about the Patriots in that first segment, about Mike Vrabel coming in, Keion White saying, finally, I got a real fucking coach, man. Get a real coach. And why that was the biggest offseason addition for the Patriots. We're going to talk a little bit about the NBA Finals in the next segment because we got a special guest coming on to tell us why it's actually good. But now we go to the Red Sox. We've talked about the Jerod Duran trade a little bit and why that could be a good thing for the Red Sox. But now I want to look at the other side of it. Like, what are the packages actually going to be for a Jerod Duran trade? Because to recap it, like, you can get a haul for this kid. This kid, 28, whatever he is. He's got 3 more years of team control after this year. He's basically, you're paying him nothing, right? He has not made any real money in the major leagues yet. All-star last year, top 10 in MVP voting, led the league in doubles and triples, an absolute machine on the base pass. Good leadoff hitter, although not as good this year as he has been last year. This is probably when his peak is going to be at his absolute highest. And I have a different opinion on this than a lot of Red Sox fans. I think if you do this Jerod Duran trade now in June, that doesn't mean you're waving the white flag. You're going to get prospects mostly. You're probably not going to get many major league guys. But you're going to get some damn good prospects, first of all, guys who are probably close to the major leagues. And second, you've got a log jam in the outfield. You needed a Wilyer Abreu injury to bring up the number 1 prospect in baseball. Roman Anthony should be playing left field every day. I think he should be playing it now with either Cedon or Jerod Duran at right. But hey, that's maybe a different story for a different day. So I don't think a Jerod Duran trade is waving the white flag. That said, let's look at who has the best offerings for Jerod Duran. Bleacher Report did a top 10. They had the Seattle Mariners at number 1. I'm telling you that right away because I am not including them in my top 3, even though they're number 1 according to Bleacher Report. I don't get this. They have basically Bryce Miller being the focal point of the trade, and then Seattle's number 4 and number 5 prospects. Which one of them is a catcher, which will be a theme here. But Bryce Miller stunk this year. He's about to turn 27. You're just adding another Brian Bayo, which I don't think is exactly what this team needs right now. Let's look then at number 3. My number 3 team, number 3 best trade packages for Jerod Duran comes from the West Coast in the LA Dodgers. Bleacher Report has this trade as looking something like this. By the way, they have it as their number 2. They would have Jerod Duran going to LA, and in return, the Red Sox get Dalton Rushing, the catcher who you're seeing on the screen here, left-handed pitcher Jackson Ferris, and shortstop Emil Morales. Ferris is the number 3 prospect in the system. Morales is the number 6. Dalton Rushing is the number 2 and one of the top prospects in MLB. He's at number 15 in the MLB pipeline, and he's a guy who's up in the majors right now. Love the idea of bringing in a young catcher, even though you've got Carlos Narvaez. What would be pretty ironic with this is that for the time being, he would slot in as a backup catcher for Connor Wong and allow you to release Connor Wong, the guy you got from the Dodgers in the Mookie Betts trade. But Dalton Rushing is a big-time prospect. He's 24. What's funny is he's playing behind the kid who went number 1 overall at Louisville a couple years ago. And then he kind of started mashing in the Cape League and has not stopped since. 900 OPS in each of his last 2 seasons at AA and AAA. It's really a season, a little right around a season. But he went to AAA about halfway through last year and played a little bit this year. He's not getting regular playing time with the Dodgers right now, the big club. Only 36 at-bats in the last 4 weeks. But what people love about him is the power. He's just got a lot of raw power. I feel like that Step Brothers line when they're watching Shark Week. Will Ferrell's like, it's just power. It's just raw power. 26 homers in AA and AAA last year. Only 5 in 41 games in AAA this year. Has 1 at the big league level as well. But a lot of pop to him that scouts are really loving. And the Dodgers really need a left fielder. They took a swing on Michael Conforto, which has not worked out at all. He's been absolutely terrible for them. And I put them at number 3 just because I don't think this deal happens. I like the prospects coming back in the Dodgers thing. And Jackson Ferris, he's struggling this year. He's only 21. He's at AA still, 5.73 ERA, but 54 strikeouts and 48 innings pitched. Number 5 left-handed prospect in all of MLB. Mid-90s fastball with that high 70s curve. Sounds like he could be kind of that prototypical 2020s left-handed pitcher. Obviously, Blake Snell comes to mind. I don't think he's going to be Blake Snell, but that's kind of the upside of it. I don't think the Dodgers make it because I think there are other cheap options for a corner outfielder that they can find that isn't going to cost them 3 of their top 6 prospects in the pipeline. But I would take that if I were the Red Sox. That is the Dodgers at number 3 in the Jarren Duran deal. Number 2, I stay in the National League, but go back to the East Coast. Number 2 trade package for me is the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies are getting desperate, man. They are not looking like a playoff team right now. They have gone the classic Phillies route that they did in the late aughts, early 2010s, where they went World Series. I mean, in the late aughts, they won the World Series, then went to the World Series, then NLCS, then NLDS. That's the same thing right now. 22 World Series, 23 Championship Series, 24 Division Series, and now they're looking like they might not even make the playoffs. The Phillies, in return, would send a couple of their top prospects. Stop me if you've heard that one before. This is number 4 on the Bleacher Report list. They would send Andrew Painter, the pitcher you're seeing right now, their number 1 prospect and a top 5 prospect in all of baseball, and their catcher, Eduardo Tate, who is a lot younger. Let's start with Andrew Painter, right-handed starter, number 5 prospect, 22 years old. He's in AAA right now because he's coming off Tommy John surgery this year. He's missed basically all of the last 2 years. 6'7", 215-pound starting pitcher. That's what we call a stallion right there. An absolute horse that could be at the top of your rotation. And if you're looking to see what he's got, how about you tune in tonight, Wednesday night, when his Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs take on the Worcester Red Sox in a AAA matchup. So he will face some future Red Sox tonight. Not having the best year, but again, coming off that Tommy John 4.82 ERA this year. The Phillies think he is fairly close to making it to the major league level. 4 pitches, had 4 pitches for a couple of years now. Over 96 on the fastball, even this year coming off the injury. The Tommy John thing doesn't bother me all that much because this is 2025. All the good young starting pitchers get Tommy John at some point, and it's almost better to get it out of the way before they hit the major leagues than as opposed to afterwards. So in terms of the pitching prospects that are listed in this top 10 by Bleacher Report, far and away the best one is Andrew Painter. Much better than the Ferris kid from LA. The other guy in the trade would be Eduardo Tate. He is another catching prospect, only 18 years old and only an A-ball right now. He is one of their top 5 prospects. He's their number 4 prospect to be exact. Does have some plus power. Again, 18 years old, A-ball. Don't know, obviously not even close to the finished product for him. But plus power, working out the defensive kinks. I just like this trade package for where the Red Sox are at right now, right? They don't develop pitching. They haven't developed starting pitching for really 20 years. Brian Bayo is the only one they've really developed in that time. Tanner Houck a little bit too, obviously made the All-Star team last year. Neither of those guys have been contributors for the team this year, and they were really expected to be. So you bring in a guy like Andrew Painter, who is pretty close to making the major leagues right now. It's almost like getting a young major leaguer, right? 4 pitches, 96 miles an hour. Like the kid has got it. He's got the body for it, 6'7". Their number 1 overall prospect. This would reek of desperation for the Phillies, but they're in desperate times right now. And Andrew Tate. That's not it. Eduardo Tate, the 18-year-old catching prospect. Like, maybe I'm being too naive about Carlos Narvaez, but I think you've got an everyday player there. I think you've got an everyday catcher in Carlos Narvaez. Do I think he's going to be like an all-star perennially? No. He is in the Rookie of the Year discussion right now as a 27-year-old. But that is an everyday catcher. Like, that's getting some Christian Vasquez there. So you'll need some reinforcement. Like, Connor Wong is not it. The guy couldn't get an RBI if it went in his back pocket. He can't do it. He physically cannot drive runs in, which is not a good thing as a major leaguer. And I think the Connor Wong train has left the station. That he's shit. He's done. Okay. So you're looking at some reinforcement there. And again, Dalton Rushing would provide that from the Dodgers trade. But Dalton Rushing is probably a kid that needs to be playing every day. And he's a major leaguer right now, right? That's still not a bad thing for the Red Sox. I'm just saying I think that LA is a little bit more hesitant to deal a catcher that's at the major league level with how much we know there's a premium on that position. Eduardo Tate, hey man, give him some time, find something out. The Red Sox can find a second catcher that's better than Connor Wong. Okay. It's going to be someone like some of these Reese McGuires, Sandy Leones they've had in the past. I think Carlos Narvaez can be a Sandy Leone, maybe even a little bit better, and be an everyday catcher on a good team like Sandy Leone was. And Eduardo Tate, bringing him in, and in 3 years, he could be your everyday catcher if he's as good a prospect as it says on MLB Pipeline. So I really like this Phillies deal a lot. Like, I think Andrew Painter is being the kind of cornerstone of a deal is fantastic for the Red Sox, but it's not the number one. It is not the number one trade package that would be offered for Jarren Duran. Again, this is all coming from Bleacher Reports. This might not even be the full package, and I want to say that because of where we go next. The number one trade package for Jarren Duran is still the team that was interested at the very beginning, and that is the San Diego Padres. They do not hit the number one spot. They're number 3 on the Bleacher Report rankings, and this trade would send Jeremiah Estrada, right-handed relief pitcher, and Leo DeVries, the Padres' number 1 prospect. They have been interested in Duran for not just the last couple of weeks. It sounds like there were some rumblings in that organization that they wanted Duran last year, maybe even the year before. The Padres are last in Major League Baseball with an output of minus 0.8 R-WAR at left field. And it has produced just a 524 OPS, which is somehow not last in the league. It's 29th in the league at that position in left field. Jarren Duran would certainly fill that quite admirably. And that's another team, not desperate, they're pretty good, but feel like they're desperate in that they need to correct that position if they want to make a run towards the World Series. We talked about the Padres in that deal a little bit, which was not exactly what I'm seeing here. But let's go through what Bleacher Report is talking about. And they admit, which I think is nice. They admit that, with relievers being a dime a dozen, it feels weird to have a guy with this much trade value in Jarren Duran, and the showpiece guy coming back is a reliever. That's not even a closer. Jeremiah Estrada. Those guys are so feast or famine from year to year. It's tough to tell. But this kid has been a beast, man. He's got 42 strikeouts in 30 innings. His fastball is about 98 miles an hour, which the Red Sox do not have. They don't have a flamethrower outside of Aroldis Chapman. And Andrew Bailey will, of course, start making him throw sinkers. But he throws it 98 on the fastball. He's got a devastating splitter, which drops about 14 miles per hour from his fastball. That is huge for changing the eye levels on this guy. You love that from a late innings, high leverage kind of guy. And that is exactly what Jeremiah Estrada will give you and will definitely bolster this bullpen. And this is what I'm talking about when I mean it doesn't have to be a white flag trade. Like, you can fill in for Jarren Duran in the corner outfields and do it again with Roman Anthony, hopefully at a pretty decent level. Not quite Jarren Duran, leading the league in triples kind of level, but I think you could make up for Duran in the corner outfields, and this would bolster your bullpen. So this keeps you I say in contention very loosely because you're not in contention right now, but it does kind of still give you some hope. The other guy, of course. And by the way, check out the Baseball Savant page of Jeremiah Estrada. I mean, this guy could well be a closer. Like, with all his red on there, man. He looks like communist China. It's just covered in red. His average exit velo and his ground ball percentage are the only things that are blue. Average exit velo is in the 9th percentile. It's great. His expected ERA, expected batting average, fastball velo, chase percentage, whiff percentage, K percentage, all in the deep red, all 90th percentile or higher. The kid is a flamethrower. Maybe he's Joel Zamaya. Maybe he's Aroldis Chapman. That's why it's a bit of a risk to have him as the focal point. And I would argue he's not the focal point. Leo DeVries would be that. The number 2 prospect in all of baseball, according to some outlets, only behind Roman Anthony. You would then corner the market on top prospects. And where that becomes really interesting is if you bring in Leo DeVries, it might sound crazy, but then you've got some options, right? You've got some options at the major league level, right? Where you can, if Alex Bregman does not want to come back, you can play someone like Marcelo Meyer at third base every day next year if Leo DeVries is ready to go. We'll see. He's probably a bit away from being ready to go and as an everyday middle infielder in the major leagues. But it also gives you some of that flexibility on trades. We talked about a Paul Skeens trade yesterday. That might seem far-fetched for the Red Sox, but they are one of the only teams that can go out and get them. And they are going to want one of those, if not two of those, three guys that are, the top three prospects for the Red Sox, that being Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and I almost said Leo DeVries, Christian Campbell, who's been at the major league level all year. They'll want one or two of those guys. It's not something you could probably, again, I don't think Leo DeVries is playing in the major leagues next year. He's in high A right now. There are rumors that he's going to go up to AAA here pretty soon at the age of 18. But he is the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. It gives you some flexibility down the line, both in your middle infield on your major league roster and in your trade prospects. I honestly think if the Padres are desperate enough to make this deal, I think the Red Sox should try and get their top 2 guys rather than even Jeremiah Estrada, who can help them this year. But I would love the 2 top prospects who are both very young. DeVries is 18. I think Ethan Salas, the catcher, is also 18 or 19. But they're their top 2 prospects, both top 20 guys in all of baseball in the MLB pipeline. That would be a huge, huge bolster to your farm system, and again, allow you some flexibility for the next couple of years. So I think that is the ideal deal. But San Diego, I think still with their desperation for Duran and how much they can offer in terms of blue chip prospects, which they have not been afraid to part with over the last few years. If you can't fleece San Diego, I don't know who you can fleece, man. But that to me is still the best deal the Red Sox can get for Jarren Duran. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What is the team you want to do business with? Which of these packages do you want for a Jarren Duran trade? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you live every weekday, high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox and everything Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up next, we got a very special guest to catch me up on the NBA Finals and tell you the best coverage for it, which is right here on the Rogue Media Sports Network. He's known simply as Kevin. We'll talk to him next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
OsleyMD.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, which is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Very special guest for third segment, closing things out today. You know him from the Zach Owen Show. You also know him from All Indiana Sports. Kevin, NBA Finals, Game 3 tonight, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I think heavily underestimated Pacers team, came in, stole Game 1. Thunder came back the way that we kind of expected.
These things even out, yeah.
But, still stole it on the road and still flipped the series. So we'll see what happens in the all-important Game 3 tonight.
Yeah, how are you feeling about tonight in general? At Indiana, obviously that crowd is going to be lit up. It's been lit up all postseason long. Impressive down the stretch in all these games. I think everyone kind of knows about Tyrese Halliburton and the clutch gene. But I'm gonna be totally honest with you, Kevin. I haven't watched the second yet. And it's mainly because I'm bitter. Like, I'm super bitter that the Celtics went out the way they did. And I've been locked into the Stanley Cup final. But all my friends are telling me, like, nah, dude, you should be watching this. So now I give you the floor. Why? And Pete was talking about it on his show yesterday, too, about how there's no juice to this. Why is he wrong? Why am I wrong? Why should everyone be watching this?
If you like basketball, okay, I related to this. Do you like March Madness?
I do, yeah.
Why do you like March Madness?
I like sports and basketball, and it's crazy.
Okay.
And I like underdogs.
You will love this finals because it has everything. It has the MVP, and it has the MV team in the Pacers. This underdog story. That's what we love about March Madness. This is what this is. If you love basketball, come back to the NBA. You have the two best teams. Even Adam Silver, he was talking about the small market thing, and he said, if you go back to the Super Bowl when you had Pittsburgh and Green Bay, no one complained about the small market. It was amazing teams. And if you want the two best teams in basketball, you have them playing right now in the NBA Finals. This is a great time to come back to basketball, not go away.
Love that. Because to be totally honest with you, maybe this is my personal bias, but if it were New York and LA, I'd probably be watching it even less. I would be detesting it and blocking it from everything that I have. So let's catch me up here, because I know this has been a great run by the Pacers, and I actually did watch a lot of that last series against the Knicks. Very happy about that. Everyone knows about the Thunder, right? Everyone knows about the Stars, and this is the team of the future, and this is where it starts right now, beginning of a dynasty, all that crap, okay? We know about the Thunder, and it's almost like the Pacers had no right being here from the way the NBA media looks at it. How have they gotten here, Kevin? How have they done this?
Well,
should we have seen it coming looking back?
I'll send you back to last season. The same narrative was said about the Pacers last season. And even as they went through the playoffs and got the win, it was all a narrative about the other team, how the other team was hurt or not good enough. Guess what? The players get hurt against the Pacers because the Pacers run up and down the floor, and they will make Dame kill his Achilles. I don't know.
Thank you.
Just an idea. But I go back to last year against your Celtics. They got swept, but they were in 3 of those 4 games up until the end and just kind of folded at the end. And so I look at last year and how they went out against your Celtics as the launching point for how things have gone completely flipped this year, where they are ending the game stronger than any other team, because they looked at the offseason and said, that's not going to happen again. And they totally flipped the script on it.
I gotta thank the Pacers in a way. Not that I felt any different about last year's Celtics, but I think a lot of these meatheads on NBA Twitter are starting to feel a little bit different, because they're like, shit, man, the Celtics swept this team. Now, we all knew, even a lot of Celtics fans knew, that was the toughest series they played. That not even close, really, and it was a sweep, right? But like you said, everything was coming down to the last couple of minutes. So all of a sudden, 2024 Celtics just look even better because the Pacers are this friggin' buzzsaw, and Celtics swept them. They made the plays at the end of the game, but they have also apparently unleashed a monster. So tell me a little bit about the podcast as well. You don't just do Pacers. Obviously, that's big right now, but it's all Indiana sports.
Yeah, we started doing Colts podcast a few years ago, audio only, got picked up by the Rogue Network as All In Colts. My wife turned to me during the playoffs and said, maybe you guys are covering the wrong team, considering the Colts' lack of success lately. But we kind of testing it out and decided to go Pacers. And my wife and I actually cover the Fever. Dropped a new episode last night about their last 2 games. Surprisingly, the Fever don't need Caitlin Clark to beat Angel Reese. Angel Reese will do that to herself.
We love that. Yeah.
But so we kind of cover all of the Indiana sports. So then come fall, we're thinking IU football that has come to be really big as of late. And then IU basketball as well, dripping a little, maybe Notre Dame and Purdue as well. Kind of cover as much as we can.
And this is, by the way, this is a family affair, right? It's you, your wife, your sons on the show. How about that? I mean, what brought you guys to doing that?
My wife is the catalyst for all of this. She said, you guys, like my oldest son and I, talk about the Colts enough around the house. We might as well hit record and start posting it. So that's what we did. And kind of take off from there. It's great. I've asked him several times as he's transitioned to college, and we've had different challenges come up. Hey, do you still want to do this? Is it weird to do this with your dad? He's like, no, I love this. So it's great.
I wish I could do a podcast with my dad, but he's not as entertaining, so it doesn't exactly work out. Before we get you out of here, do you buy in? Because you just mentioned you talk about all the Indiana sports teams. Do you buy into this deal with the devil that the Pacers have, that Tyrese Halliburton might have had, where now, the Colts are kind of middling? Unfortunately, Jim Irsay just passed away. Caitlin Clark's got the injury. Do you think that has been like this deal with the devil, that everything else in professional Indiana sports is going haywire, but the Pacers rock?
I don't think so. I think if you look at the future is bright for all of those Indiana franchises. With Caitlin Clark, it's a temporary injury. We know that. She's going to come back, hopefully this week against the defending champion Liberty, who are currently undefeated. But I have a funny Irsay conspiracy theory. We have a segment that we could call Kevin's Conspiracies, because I'm a big-time conspiracy theorist. So here we go.
We love that on the show. Yeah.
Bob Irsay, Jim's dad, died in 97. In 98, they drafted Peyton Manning. Jim Irsay died in 25. There might be a Manning available in 26 in the draft.
This is something. And I love this, because if Drake May actually turns out to be a stud, then I can't wait to face another Manning in Indianapolis. I love that. So that is awesome, man. And I think you would. Oh, let's take the deaths out of it. But like futility for some teams, I think you would trade for a Pacers championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think within 4 years, I think that all 3 of those professional Indiana teams could be in the run for a chip every single year.
And the only place to catch it, all at the time, is All Indiana Sports. Kevin, tell people where they can find you, find the pod, find everything.
Yes, youtube.com/ with the tag All Indiana Sports, and All Indiana Sports on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. You want a key to Game 3 and moving forward?
Yes.
This is from my son. I stole this from Liam. He said, let SGA do his thing. Make sure you take care of the role players. Shut them down, and that's how you get a victory for the Pacers moving forward.
Very Belichick, man. Let everyone else beat you. See if they can. I love that. Game 3 tonight. Obviously, Kevin and Liam and the whole family will have the breakdown on the Pacers, potentially going up 2-1 in the NBA Finals, all part of this growing Rogue Media Sports Network. Kevin, appreciate you taking the time and giving us the update.
Thanks, Cam.
That's going to basically do it here on our episode of The Cam Show and the burgeoning Rogue Media Sports Network. Check out Kevin and his stuff. Check out Pete that comes on before us. We are live at high noon Eastern time every weekday, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. We will see you tomorrow on a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hinomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Zanes, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit TwoSains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.